are going to discuss Pareto Principle. This is a very important subject as touching life and destiny, yet it is the most underspoken out of it. As usual, this place is very hot, so permit me if I wipe up sweat or I occasionally touch my body because it's itchy. The temperature here is out of this world. It's almost like a desert. It is scorching, sir. It is scorching. The Pareto Principle, like I said, it is the most fundamental aspect of your life and destiny. It states 80% of consequences comes from 20% of causes. So 80%, which is a huge percentile as touching the outcome of your life and destiny, comes from 20% of the causes. So for instance, I'm a YouTube content creator, for instance. It means 80% of my outcome is predicated on that wise. So my financial circumstance, all of my investments, the kind of people I meet, my network, every single thing is predicated on that consequence. But the cause, which is 20% of the effort, creating content, engaging in materials that builds me, that improves the channel. Like I said, I've said it countlessly, that every business you're failing at, someone else is succeeding. The difference is not the business. The difference is the person behind the business. And by now you should understand, person is not the physical body. Person is not your flesh. Person is your mind. Because your mind dictates your action. Your action leads to the consequence of your life. The consequence determines the ultimate quality of your life. So when you want to change, you do not change physical things. You change the giver of those instructions. Let's not diverge because that's a whole new podcast in and of itself. So if we pivot back to the original discourse, 20% is spent on a huge 80% of course. The problem with this concept is most people spend minuscule amount of time in doing that which decides their life and destiny. So the time you spend, and this is for a very good reason, because you cannot see the logical correlate between that minuscule amount of action and the result. So for instance, you cannot see how books or consuming materials directly improves the quality of your life or improves the quality of that channel. You spend less time as a result, which is very unfortunate. The point I'm trying to highlight, the summary of this discourse, anything gotten easy is generally unappreciated. Take your limbs, for instance. When was the last time you got up and were grateful for your limbs? Exactly. Yet, if you lose these limbs, I do not care how much wealth you get, it will be less enjoyable as opposed to the default. Yet, you don't give a shit. And I am guilty as well. I do not give thanks for my limbs. So this is a call to zoom more attention to the cause of your life. Because by intensifying the level of action taken upon your life and destiny, you are more likely to produce a huge amount of results. In fact, I want you to see your life through the lens of this principle. Name one outcome that controls your destiny. Is it a business? Is it forex trading? Some line of entrepreneurship? You would notice that the inception of that action was a consequence of a book You started because you read something online, you saw a short, you saw a video, you saw some motivating something. So that little course opened up the next level of your life. The Pareto Principle is very, very relevant, very relevant. And I find myself, I don't know what is happening, but in this season, I teach more on basic concepts. I've said it countlessly. I prefer videos where I wag my finger on you, raise my voice, ones that entails a very huge amount of time spent on ranting, spent on pointing fingers. Yet, I find myself teaching on basic concepts, because basic concepts are the foundation. They are the foundation of which you can lay and build your complex edifice upon. Without a foundation, nothing is existent, nothing can function. So that foundation is necessary for you to build anything. One of the cool things about foundation, once laid, you can decide what kind of building you desire. Is it a skyscraper? Is it a bungalow? Is it a duplex? Is it a 3-story building? Regardless of what you want, it can now be built because the foundation has been laid. So once you have a foundation of knowledge as deep as mine, it can accommodate anything you want to build. So if you dig the foundation of a duplex or of a skyscraper, building a duplex upon that foundation would still be sustainable. In fact, it would be more sustainable than average. So rest assured, you are covered as touching these concepts. So focus more on those little aspects of your life. As basic, as simple as this sounds, the reason most defaults, like I said, first is uncertainty. No, not before uncertainty. Let's discuss. You can't see the logical correlation between this action and the desired outcome, between this action and consequence. You cannot see how reading books, attending seminars logically correlate to the improving of your business, because it's most likely you're doing it because entrepreneurs whom you respect encourage you to do it, but you have not received the fundamental understanding that going to masterminds, going to business seminars, reading books, all of this improves your mindset, which is the giver of the action relative to your business. Every business you are failing at, someone else is succeeding. The difference is not the person. The difference is not the location. The difference is not only the ambience. The difference is the person behind the business. And the person, the giver of the instruction. So all of that is an attempt to change or improve the giver of the instruction. Man, it is hot in here. It is taking every single ounce of my energy to fight, rubbing my face, to fight, using my fingers to make fan gestures. But anyways, the second is uncertainty. Uncertainty. That if I give up my time, if I sacrifice the parties, if I sacrifice the women, if I give up every single thing as touching this goal and desire, would it work? Would it profit? How am I sure? You're not. But if you do not take action, there's a guarantee you would never be successful. Never. And unfortunately, we live in an age where there's 100% guarantee on everything. If this doesn't work, you can return it. If XYZ doesn't provide the requisite level of service, bring it back and we'll refund you. Unfortunately, life is not like that. Life is R-I-S-K. That is how life is spelled. R-I-S-K. You have to risk. And once you give up your time for that business, once you give up your time to build something, guess what? If it fails, you cannot be refunded your time, sir. This is not a package. This is not something you ordered on Amazon. If you fail, you fail. Fail, sir. Make reference to the video I made yesterday. The video under this. Something it explains more on the concept of uncertainty. So spend more time doing that which is profitable and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.